I am what stands between you and the boat and the reception. I invite you all to have a seat. I am Kendall Turner, Executive Vice President and CFO of the Los Angeles Economic Development Corporation. And I welcome you to our closing session today. We've heard today why you should choose us, why you should choose LA County. But what you're going to hear in this closing panel is why we need you to choose LA. The local economy is supported in so much in partnership with you guys in an international component of this LA economy and this LA demographics here. So what we want to do is invite Leah. Leah Goldhaus is going to conduct a panel session for us this afternoon. She is the president and CEO of the Long Beach Economic Partnership. She's going to invite the rest of our panel up to have a discussion. Thank you.
I invite our panelists to please come and join me. And you can see we've got an incredible group here for this final panel. Before we head out to the boat, I want to allow our panelists to make a self-introduction so that you can hear who they are and what they do. But before that, since we're here in Long Beach, I'm going to take just a minute to brag a little bit about Long Beach. As most of you know, we did receive the Eddie Award last year at the LA EDC event for Most Business-Friendly City. So very excited about that. And then at World Trade Week, we held that breakfast here in Long Beach. Was fantastic because it just happened to coincide with the relaunch of the World Trade Center Long Beach. So much like the Port Complex, working in partnership with World Trade Center LA. And the last thing I want to mention is that the Financial Times Nikkei rating also ranked Long Beach #1 for supporting foreign business development in the city. So we are so excited to host you here. And I'll give a quick shout out to our Executive Director, Felipe Kusner, for the World Trade Center Long Beach. Give a wave if you would, please. So thank you everyone for being here in our beautiful city, and we are just thrilled for this collaboration with LA EDC and our 88 cities, which makes this region so investment worthy. And with that, I'd like to start at the far end of the panel and have our Consular General from Finland make a self-introduction, please.
Thank you very much, Leah, and I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation, and happy to be actually here in Long Beach, where our Minister for Foreign Trade and Development led a delegation a couple of months ago to the port area. I'm a bureaucrat, if you want to put it that way. I'm a career diplomat, but before that I worked as a research fellow and in private sector briefly. But my career has been dominated by trade and economy related assignments. So I've been Director for Trade Policy at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I've served as Ambassador for Organization for Economic Cooperation Development in Paris, and which is extremely helpful here because my main task is to promote Finnish export investment and innovation cooperation to California and to 12 other Western states. So I was, prior to coming here, I served as ambassador for Team Finland, which means coordinating and developing our export promotion services. Really happy to be here, and also happy to have a Finnish product outside. The electronic superbike Verge is one of those products that we are proud, and we'd like to see them more in the South California market. So all set. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And our Consular General from Germany, if you please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Leah, and thanks also for having us. Thank you also to LAEDC and the whole team of LAEDC for putting together this wonderful event. It's been a great honor to be here, as it has been serving as Consul General for Germany since August last year. I've been with the Foreign Service for 14 years, working a lot in the trade and business field, a lot in communications, and I actually worked in the private sector before joining the Foreign Service, so it's always a pleasure at just furthering causes of trade and business. This is what we have been focusing on very strictly in the past month. As you've outlined pretty clearly today, Germany has a lot of interest in the LA County region and Southern California as such. We also, I can't keep up with Okopeka regarding the number of states we cover, but we do cover 5 states, and there is a lot of business potential, business opportunities, and German investment already in the region, and we are trying to facilitate even more of that as a German consulate.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And Kelly, if you'd please give us an introduction.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kelly Lobianco, and I'm the director of the LA County Department of Economic Opportunity. Thrilled to be here in Long Beach. I actually feel like I've had a lot of opportunity to spend some time in Long Beach. I spent a little bit of time with your mayor the other day. We had a small business summit during Small Business Month, and back here with the Select LA Conference. So love being here in Long Beach. We are a relatively new economic development agency for LA County. We serve the entire region, all 4,000 square miles, 10 million residents, million small businesses. Our department was created by the 5 supervisors. The county's run by 5 Board of Supervisor members. And the county prior to that had workforce and economic development activities scattered among our 40-odd agencies. And you can imagine that makes it difficult to support a regional strategy in a county as large and complex as ours. So I'm very proud that the Board of Supervisors coalesced after the pandemic to try to organize ourselves to support economic growth and, more importantly, inclusive and sustainable economic growth in the region. And so we're 2 years new and very much excited to be in touch and in community with all of you as you're thinking about opportunities for investment in LA County. Just very quickly about our department, so you sort of understand our functions. We oversee the LA County Workforce Development Board and our public workforce system. So we're training youth and adults for new and better jobs, working directly with industry, large and small, to make sure that you have a diverse and qualified talent pipeline. So that's part and parcel of our work. We support entrepreneurship and small business development. We support government navigation with a very complex county, from permitting to contracting. We also support community development. So that's looking at county assets for redevelopment and revitalization, identifying vacant properties across or underutilized properties across the county for investment, and so working with folks like the LA EDC to ensure that opportunities in countries across the globe find themselves a home here in LA, and that we make it as supportive as possible to find the small business, major industry partnerships, and qualified talent pipeline, like I said. So very excited to find ways to partner and to share a little bit of the ways that we can encourage you to site right here in LA County.
Thank you. And we've heard a lot about USC and UCLA today, but I'm very excited to introduce our next panelist from Cal State Long Beach. So Jenny, if you'll please give an introduction.
Thank you so much, and I'm so honored to be here as well. My name is Jenny Rhee, and I'm the Dean of the College of Engineering at Cal State Long Beach, otherwise known as the Beach. That's the nickname for our campus. If you hear me refer to that, it's much easier. Anyway, Cal State Long Beach is one of the largest universities in the Southern California region. The College of Engineering, I'll brag a little bit. We were recently ranked number 20 in the nation for undergraduate engineering programs without a PhD program.
Perfect. There you go. And just a quick note for our tech team, so we don't miss the boat. Our timer isn't on, so if you need to alert us of the time, please feel free. Okay, with that, we've obviously heard all about the LA Advantage, as Allison shared with us, and this entire conference has been around investing in innovation. So maybe going back to Finland, and known for innovation, can you speak a little bit around technology in particular, and what you see in terms of opportunity here in LA and tech transfer, if you will, or that exchange of ideas and innovation as being an asset in terms of international.
Sure. I would actually like to, when it comes to a Finnish approach and the market of Los Angeles and Southern California and beyond, I'd like to start with a issue that has to do with the trade and investment environment that we all should be a little bit concerned about, and that has to do with the forces of geopolitics, how that is shaping the trade and investment environment. We all know that globalization, the one that started maybe 30 years ago or so, as such is dead, but that doesn't mean that we need to keep the markets open. We need to be all aware of that if increasing barriers for trade and investment, that hurts everyone. And I'm not representing here only Finland. Finland is a member of European Union, which is a single market and also a trading bloc, and also the biggest trading partner and investment partner of United States. So I think this is one of the questions of destiny. We talk a lot about values and also like-mindedness and secularization of technology, etc. And I think this should start actually start to be reflected in trade relations between the United States and the European Union. Having said this, of course, we take the operational environment as it is given, and Finland is a very strong tech-related economy. And in increasing numbers, Finnish companies come to California for the obvious reasons that we heard today. So the LA advantage is there. It is about the innovation environment. It's about the financing possibilities, partnerships, and skillful workforce. And it is very much about the possibility to build brands here and to understand the global role of Los Angeles in setting trends. And of course, the market is extremely lucrative, and it is also scalable. So that's what is happening, and later happy to talk a little bit what sectors especially, and since we have also a very recent agreement with Los Angeles City.
Perfect. Thank you so much for those remarks. Maybe kind of pivoting from there, Kelly, thinking about how many of our tech startups here are very small, and you're working with smaller companies in particular. How do small companies perceive international opportunities, and how do they get comfortable with this notion of engaging in the international marketplace in some regard?
That's an interesting question. I think I would answer that sort of in two ways. So our department supports, just for full awareness of folks that don't know us, everything from your person with an idea in your mind to major tech companies here in LA County. When we think about our smallest businesses, thank you so much, sorry. When we think about our smallest businesses here, we want to make sure that folks that live and are homegrown in LA have opportunities to start up. But we also know that for growth, you need partnership, and that competition is good, right? And so I think we think about it from that perspective. So we are both excited to support our local, small businesses who are starting and coming out of our college systems, or spinning off from larger organizations, and making sure that they find a home here, and also encouraging more to come. I'm sorry, can you rephrase? I was
No. That's really important. I think, in my prior work, we worked a lot with small and mid-sized companies. And small companies oftentimes are engaged in trade through, platforms like Amazon, what have you, before they really start to establish a clear partnership with a distributor, what have you, overseas. So I was just curious, your thoughts as you're working with smaller companies in particular, and many of them are tech startups, if you will, here in the region. Are there any insights that you have in terms of how we bolster their confidence in, playing more in this space of international?
Yeah, I mean, I think we know that small businesses need all sorts of different kinds of support. So our agency provides a range of things. So we will support individuals from the very beginning of like education and information, making sure that folks understand how to plug in for their own startup and growth, how to plug into ecosystems within various high growth sectors, and also how to engage with each other. We support folks with a lot of different kinds of technical assistance and capital. So I think that that's one big way that we're supporting our small business communities, tech and beyond. And also I think there's that matching function. Another thing that we do well, or we're trying to do better, is helping folks navigate government, right? So we have a lot of opportunities ourselves. We procure, $6 to $8 billion worth of goods and services every year, making sure folks see us as an agent of their business growth as well, and connecting it to LA City, Metro, other partners as well. So we're essentially trying to understand the barriers for any sort of individual business. Sometimes it's customized for a particular sector, and then wrapping our arms around them. And so really being, not what you typically think of in the government as sometimes that red tape, but supporting as an advocate of small business growth.
Perfect. So jumping from that, and thinking still in that realm of small to mid-sized companies, and as they grow in order to participate in some of these international relationships to advance partnerships and growth, et cetera, I know that one advantage we saw was capitalizing on students or graduates who are coming from degrees that have an understanding of international business. And so Jenny, if you could just speak to what you see some of your graduates coming out have in terms of being an asset to businesses that want to be engaged in international business, whether it be a tech company or other.
Sure. I'll talk a little bit about the workforce that we do develop at Cal State Long Beach. I mentioned that we're one of the largest universities in the region. We have almost 40,000 students. And we heard a little bit earlier about the importance of economic diversity. So College of Engineering is one of 7 academic colleges at our university. We also have business and health and human services and the arts, et cetera, et cetera. But I just want to talk about engineering since I'm the dean of that college. We have over 6,000 students, and we're considered one of the largest engineering colleges in the state of California and the US. We just graduated over 1,400 engineers this past May, so they're all entering the world and entering the workforce. We are considered a regional university, which means that most of our students stay in the area and work in the area after they graduate. And this isn't necessarily the case with some of the other privates and even the UCs in the area. So that's another distinguishing feature of our students. You need an engineering workforce to sustain an economy that's based on technical innovation.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the key ingredients. And I feel like Cal State Long Beach is kind of at an epicenter of many established industries, aerospace, of course, but also we have a lot of construction in the area, the utilities, software companies, biotech, and also the proximity to the ports of LA and Long Beach are one of the things that make this an ideal location for a College of Engineering, in my opinion. I wanted to mention a couple of other endeavors that we have, and I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget to mention them. We recently received a $2.5 million grant from the state of California for a K through 16 collaborative to develop workforce pathways. We're going to use our funding to develop pathways that go through our computer engineering technology major, in addition to some majors that lead to careers in healthcare and health services. So we're super excited for that work, and there was a similar award made to each of the 5 regions of LA County. So we're looking for some good impacts from that. Also, we have a College of Professional and Continuing Education, and we had Associate Dean Tom O'Brien speak from that organization here earlier. And they offer certificate and other programs that teach the skills needed for certain types of job placements and careers. The university is going to be vastly expanding our self-support offerings moving into the future. We also have an Office of Research and Economic Development, and they steward over $50 million of external research grants and contracts for the entire university. And of course, they maintain important partnerships with entrepreneurs and investors and industry, and of course, government agencies as well. And last but not least, I wanted to give a shout out to our Institute for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. They host our Sunstone Innovation Challenge in addition to other events that are designed to foster innovation on our campus. They had a key role to play in the development of the Long Beach Accelerator, and they work in collaboration with the Long Beach Economic Partnership. Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, and then I want to ask our Consular General of Germany. We know that Germany is obviously one of our top 5 investors here in the region. Maybe if you could share some of the reasons, we've all heard many of them today, but uniquely from your perspective, Consular, why LA, and maybe share some success that you've seen here take place in the region.
Yes, happy to actually. I think the key words that a few of us have mentioned already today are diversity, the potential of a great talent pool that there is, in combination with all of the other factors that we've gotten into today, is the key. And actually, regarding diversity, I think it's a perfect mix, actually, a match actually between Germany and LA County, because our at the core of our economy in Germany is also diversity. So if you see the investments of German companies over here in LA County, it ranges from investments in the field of infrastructure to investments in the field of defense. If I mention a few companies here, for example, Siemens has just won the tender for the Brightline West project. Rheinmetall, which is a huge German defense company, is cooperating with Northrop Grumman and Lockheed Martin in the field of producing the F-35. So that's a big deal. We do have a lot of companies that are smaller, less visible than the big ones, but still as active as the big ones here in LA County. For example, BMW Design Works, that's the inside-out think tank of BMW, focusing a lot on community engagement, on designs of the future, on behaviors of the future, all with the goal of ensuring sustainability and furthering clean energy. So that's all at the focus. If you hear the word BMW, that's always a big company, of course, but Design Works is like a very small entity, independent entity. And there are other companies that are doing a similar job, big and small scale. So I think that is a perfect match, and it's a perfect match in various sectors, as I've said.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for those comments, and we recognize so many of those companies that you just named is very exciting. I want to go back over to our Consular General from Finland, and maybe if you can just expand a little bit on the importance of some of these engagements between countries and what that means in terms of economic growth, job growth, expanding innovation and investment.
Sure. For us, even more now when the market of Russia is closed and Finland has over 800 miles common border with Russia. But also the eastern market, because the logistical and transport routes has become more cumbersome. So the US market as such is more and more important for us, and now we are a new, fresh NATO member, and that increases possibilities and also strengthens the relationship. But all this means that when the companies come, Finnish companies in bigger numbers come to the California market, and the common denominator for these companies is digital and green transition. Over 80% of the companies that we serve in form of contacts and market information and advice, they are either they are and/or in the industries related to green and digital transition. So this was also for us a reason to make an initiative vis-a-vis Los Angeles City, that since we have activated already over 300 Finnish companies and research institutions in relation to green and digital transition. And as we all know, how important it is to modernize the city and the county infrastructure. And when you do that, you need to make it more greener and more digital. And by the way, many thanks. It's already 2 years ago, Stephen, we had a discussion about the possibility of the match of the Finnish offering and the Los Angeles region demand. And in March, we signed a letter of intent, Mayor Bass and our Minister for Foreign Trade. This agreement, it's a piece of paper, but it actually is an interesting paper because it's a bottom-up approach. We already had activated companies in this field, and we have 4 focus areas: green and smart ports, just outside there, and we have green and smart mobility and green and smart built environment and energy. And we're really happy. Last week we hosted the Los Angeles City delegation in Finland. They had the possibility to take a look at the Finnish ecosystems solutions. And I want to underline that this is a peer learning process. The political dialogue is extremely important part of the entity. And when we talk about the dual transition, because that's the concept for the greening and digitalizing, when you talk about it, it's not enough that you activate business. You need to have also the research, development, and science part in place, and also the political and civil society. So it's a whole of society approach that is needed. So that's why we value very much this comprehensive dialogue with Los Angeles City.
That's so well put. And I think, too, that as we've all collectively talked about moving towards the 2028 Olympics, I think there's a lot of pressure, maybe, if you will, for LA County to be ready for the world to come and visit us and showcase some of this innovation you're talking about, and certainly from the transportation side of things, as we'll be moving people in and around the games. So, Kelly, going back to you, when you hear about some of these opportunities in terms of foreign investment and foreign companies, taking root here in LA County, and this innovation that's happening, and we talk about, goods movement, people movement, et cetera, how do you direct some of these smaller companies that you're talking to in terms of, engaging in these larger opportunities and being able to participate in something like the Olympics?
Yeah, I just want to be clear, we don't just work with small businesses in our department, we work with all businesses. So I just want to make that super clear. The Department of Economic Opportunity works from everyone from, someone with an idea in their mind to the globally competitive industries here in LA County. But the Olympics is something that we are very focused on. Obviously, it puts us on a world stage. We're already a nationally and globally competitive county and city, and there's a lot that we need to do to be ready for that kind of investment. I think one of the things that we're thinking about at the Department of Economic Opportunity and within the county is how to make sure that we are not using opportunities like that as like a one-off economic shock, right? That these are ways for us to showcase what I know you all have heard about all day long, the LA Advantage. We have an incredible workforce here. We have an amazing small business community. We have globally competitive industries that we're encouraging more of here to inspire our growth and make sure we have lots of good quality jobs for the region and enticing more folks to come and live here and work here, as well as stay here. We want to inspire folks that are doing R&D and incubating new businesses out of our college systems to stay here too. All of that is stuff that our department can help support, right? We want to make sure that if you need to hire or you're having a training challenge, that we're investing in you. So, for example, we're investing $25 million right now in what we call high road training partnerships. So that means if you're in aerospace and you're looking for fabricators or you're in the creative economy and you need gaming and animation folks, we're customizing job development talent pipelines for our industries, large and small. So like those are the kinds of investments our county's gonna make. So if you're coming here and you're worried that you don't have the diversity of talent that you need to be successful here, we're building it with you. If you're coming here and you need to match with small businesses or other partners to be able to execute your work in this region or sort of meet community benefit and or meet the customers that are local to here, we're here to support that process as well. We're working across our county to try to expedite all of our processes and working with us because we know it can be difficult to find a place, set up shop, get everything that you need to do business, but our goal really is to expedite that. And so it's not just sort of in service to the Olympics or even to get these new infrastructure dollars in. I think those are reasons that you might be compelled to be here too, because we're bringing new resources and opportunities to the region, and that's our focus. But we really do see ourselves as a collaborative partner, no matter what the issue that you have in terms of like determining that you want to be here, successfully starting up, and being facilitated in your growth.
Thank you for that, and thank you for clarifying. I know the Small Business Administration considers small business, 500 employees or less, so.
Yeah, but we're county, so we're not SBA aligned, yeah.
Yep, no, that's great, I appreciate that. And so speaking of, moving into these businesses, obviously, Jenny, you mentioned your graduates, and we heard from, these space companies today, and they obviously have a global footprint. So as your graduates move into these companies, what awareness do they have around, the international presence of some of these companies? And working for those types of companies is something I would assume your students see as beneficial, but from your lens, what's the students' interest in the international presence of some of these businesses?
So I don't know if it's the international perspective specifically that's attracting them. They just want to do cool engineering work. I mean, the most popular projects on our campus are the rocket projects because they want to blow things up in the desert, and that's really fun. We're starting a new satellite lab so that we can start doing satellite projects as well. We're building a new co-laboratory on our campus that's going to co-locate all of our faculty who do research and projects requiring chemical fume hoods, so that will be really exciting. The vehicle projects are really exciting too, so the Formula One racers, the Formula Electric, hybrid, mini Baja, human-powered vehicle. And the aerospace startups in Long Beach are doing some amazing, exciting, cool work that is gonna go on to change the world. So that's what's really appealing to our students. I wanted to make a point about our international students that many people might not be aware of. International students do impact our economy. I think Cal State Long Beach is ranked 12th in the state for international student impact. I know in our congressional district that they contribute $78.8 million and create 687 jobs for the district. So it's not something to be discounted. Also, our faculty are very diverse and international as well. They host international scholars to come work and study on our university, and those collaborations result in funded research and advancement of knowledge, so that's important too. I think educating engineers from around the world can create positive connections with Southern California, and maybe it will lead to further investment down the road. I definitely think that's something that we should leverage in the future. I would encourage all local businesses who might be here today to consider sponsoring an international engineering student through CPT or OPT. Those are ways that international students can engage in internships and employment in the US as long as it relates to their program of study.
Perfect, well said, thank you so much. I want to go back to, we heard from our Finnish Consular General about some of the geopolitical issues that obviously are top of mind when we talk about international trade. But coming back to our German Consular General, thinking about the investment you've made in Southern California, what would be one of your takeaways that you would share in explaining why, despite some of the challenges, these types of international investments remain a strong opportunity from an economic standpoint and workforce standpoint?
Well, maybe to start off with, the embassy is over on the East Coast in Washington. That's very far away. It's a completely different game over here on the West Coast. So the first thing from a political plus economical standpoint is to get a grasp of the whole all of the U.S., meaning the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest. Every state has its different opportunities. Every state has its different ecosystem. So it's very crucial for us to have a foot on the ground, understand every single ecosystem that there is, and tap into the opportunities that there are in each ecosystem. And specifically with regard to LA, I've mentioned the diversity. That is, of course, a factor for us. The upcoming sports events, the expertise, as well as the knowledge which our companies can offer in that regard. That's a huge opportunity which we love to tap in. We've been in touch with LAEDC and all the other actors, the city, the county, and everything on this event, and we're happy to play a part in that, because the opportunities are there and there's a lot to do. You've mentioned the challenges, but I'd rather focus on the opportunities and the potential that there is, and that's enormous.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we only have a few minutes left, and I'd like to give each of our panelists an opportunity just to provide your comments and insights in terms of what this type of a gathering means in sharing information around investment in Los Angeles County from an international perspective, from an economic perspective, or a job perspective. So I'll start again with our Consular General from Finland, if you would.
Oh, it's a broad question. I think this is the very essence of our work and the value added that we can provide for our companies, for our people and government. So actually I'm so feel privileged to be here and to have the possibility to talk about our perspective. For us, I mentioned that the green and digital, and it's very much business to government activity. For obvious reasons, it's about creating infrastructure. I hope that we can actually, because of the importance of the market, also increase the activity of those companies who are business to business and business to consumer. And that's also the, I think, the very cool example that we have outside this electronic motorbike. And that has to do also with the investment perspective, since this company is aiming high. They want to become the Tesla of the super motorbikes, and they have good possibilities to achieve that goal. But it's also about looking, in this case, this company is looking for a manufacturing site place, and they're very much considering Los Angeles area. We heard about the cost level, that it's not necessarily the strength of a pull factor for Los Angeles area, but in many cases it's not this decisive one, and I totally agreed what was said earlier today. So let's hope that it would be great to see this manufacturing site producing 15,000 to 20,000 electronic superbikes in Los Angeles area. Let's see how the negotiations will go. But I hope that we will get this kind of possibilities to help to contact companies, and then by that also contribute to the increase in foreign investment to Los Angeles area.
Perfect, perfect. I hope so too. Think about Long Beach as you consider location. Consular General, any final thoughts around the importance of the event and investment here?
I'm happy to echo Orko-Pekka's comments. I also want to point once again to the fact that the EU is the largest trading partner for the US. And I've already mentioned the opportunities we have here in LA and greater LA area. With regard to the future, we all know, apart from the geopolitical situation, that there's no other way than focusing on sustainability and opportunities in the field of clean energy. So I think it is just that we are natural partners, California, Southern California, as well as us in Europe and the Consular Corps. And events like this one give us the opportunity as diplomats to show that it's not just about talking, but it's about making connections, developing something out of these connections, developing opportunities, helping the companies reaching goals in the field of sustainability, in the field of clean energy, and all the other sectors that are so relevant here in Southern California.
Yeah, perfect, wonderful. Kelly, final thoughts?
Thank you. LA County, as we've talked about, has sort of every major industry represented here. Our goal as the county is to make sure, whether it's Hollywood or aerospace or bioscience and life sciences, tech and healthcare, that these are thriving industries that have a growing number of really quality jobs and career pathways for local and international newcomers. We are here to support those industries in their growth, and that's through sort of every economic development lever that we have. So we are supportive of making sure homegrown companies grow, and we attract great companies into the region. And so we really see ourselves as a conduit of that. We also are, LA County right now is, in general, is the size of a medium-sized country, right? We have a huge economy. We are bringing more and more resources in that companies and that regions like yours may represent and benefit from. We just talked about LA 28. LA County will be on the global stage. There are a lot of investment coming in there that we're hoping to amplify and make sure that whether it's a brand or a company or a region, that you sort of have the benefit of being on that global stage along with us in such a diverse environment. We also have major investments from the federal government right now in terms of infrastructure. You talked about the sustainability and clean tech in the region, zero emission vehicles and broadband and just general capital development. There's a lot of opportunities to tap into, and LA County government can be a conduit for those connections. And then broadly, we're here to make sure doing business is easier, right? So if you're launching a new company within an education system or on your own, or trying to find a space to set up or small businesses to partner with, we see that as our role to make it easier. Cut through the red tape, support that government navigation, make sure that you come here and that we're a supportive entity in that. So I just want to make sure that folks see us as that, and happy to connect after.
Perfect. Jenny.
Well, the mission of the California State University system is to provide that access to higher education, and for that social mobility that enables. Our university was ranked #1 for social mobility this year by U.S. News and World Report. So that's very much aligned with our core business. And it's an honor for us to produce the workforce that's needed to fuel the tech economy in the Southern California region. I really feel like the workforce combined with the established industries that are in the area and our entrepreneurial spirit is kind of like the magic potion that we need for us to all meet our missions. Our College of Engineering is going to be producing 15,000 engineers in the next decade. And our mayor of Long Beach, Mayor Richardson, has pledged that he wants to attract 100 new startups to Long Beach in the next 5 years. So I think those two things in combination are going to catalyze the growth that we want to see here.
Couldn't have said it better. Thank you to all of our panelists. I want to make sure we don't miss the boat and that we can all enjoy some time together. So I just want to thank the LA EDC team for putting on this amazing event as they do every year, and their work to make sure that we are indeed a collaborative region that welcomes our foreign colleagues here to invest, to grow, to collaborate, and to provide economic opportunity for everyone. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Leah, for that conversation and keeping us on time so we don't miss the boat. I'm glad you guys are listening. Excellent. As we're closing, for those of you who've been to these sessions before, I like to kind of wrap everything up by kind of jotting down some key takeaways, and there's been many, so I'm going to run through it. First, Select USA is happening next week. This is where 4,000 investors from around the world will go to Washington, D.C., and they will be deciding where they're going to invest. And I think our team will be there alongside with the state of California, but we need to do more so that we can tell our story. On stage today and at the breakout rooms, you heard so many amazing things that we're now learning about Los Angeles that I don't think we tell enough. So we keep on saying we want to engage you and we need your help. Part of this is a call to action. We need you to start talking about the positive stories, about things that are happening here. So when people think about Los Angeles from outside, they don't only think about traffic and Hollywood and some of the bad things that are happening, but we also need to talk about good things. So call to action number one. We're excited. Lucius told us in the morning there's some exciting announcement by Mayor Richardson. I don't know what it is. I'm very excited. I think on Tuesday we'll find out. So keep your eyes open, and when we hear about it, let's make sure that we repost and make sure that we're able to amplify that story about how Long Beach is going to be shaping the future for economic development and for innovation. Mayor Bass and Deputy Mayor Bromagem said, don't focus on 2028. The Olympic Games and Paralympic Games are fantastic, but don't forget about 2025, 2026, 2027 as well. And if we remember, there's going to be about 100,000 contracts that will be issued before the 2028 Olympic Games. For the businesses here and for the international businesses that will be listening to this session, come get a piece of the pie, but make sure when you're here, contribute to our economy as well by creating good jobs and entrepreneurship. And I've also got to learn from the French Consul General, entrepreneur. Someone need to teach me how to say that word properly. So with that said, there's about $6.9 billion that will be spent before the Olympic Games. So we got to make sure that we're bringing it together. Ginny, as you're mentioning about Mayor Richardson's goal of having 100 new startups coming over here, we hope to make sure that some of them are the unicorns that will be growing out of this entire region. And if they're in the blue or ocean economy, we want to make sure we have those narwhals, right? 88 cities. We came on talking about this region being so great because we have 88 cities. I think Barb in your session gave us the information as the 140 unincorporated regions coming together. This is the third largest cluster core. This is enormous. And as Kelly was mentioning, right, this is a mid-size, and actually it's more than a mid-size. We're the 21st largest economy in the world. And by the way, if it's not just LA County, it's the greater Los Angeles region, the 5 counties combined, our GDP is now about $1.2 trillion, tied with Mexico as the 15th largest economy in the world. I don't think Mexico is a mid-size. It's a large-size country, right? So LA should be ranked in the large-size country as well. From the breakout session, we've heard that VCs and investments have been coming down to Los Angeles so folks can access not only the business opportunities, but also the funding. There's nowhere else you need to go. You can just stay right here. And the diversity of industries, including space, I think Drew was talking about the space sector. The bioscience sector has been fantastic to focus on, the trade and logistics sector, but all of that is dependent on our workforce development and a talent development system. And that's why having 118 higher education institutions combined together to really help us get ready for the future of our workforce is going to be key to this. And it was Mark who was mentioning to us that major investments in infrastructure, and in the breakout session, both in the ports and the airports. And by the way, by 2028, we're going to have a beautiful airport, and hopefully even before that, right, when the people mover is going to come through. So it's going to help us get ready for a sustainable future. So we ask you guys all to be a bit patient while we're going through some transition at LAX, and don't tweet about the bad things. Focus on the positive things and talk about how great global entry is coming into this airport. And then international companies like Rocket Lab, they said that they need to basically open their headquarters in the US. And of all the cities that they looked at, they decided that Los Angeles is the place for them because of our access to logistic and transportation hubs and a huge talent pool as well. This is the location for them and for many other companies as well. And I think back to Barb's panel, alongside with our partners from the state and from the local governments as well, resources are available. A lot of support and organization are able to help. If you reach one of us, you reach all of us. This is a tight-knit group, but we need to make sure that we're even tighter, which goes back to the second call to action. Coalition of one, economy for all. Let's work together. There's so many different projects. Sometimes it becomes very difficult for us to quantify all of it. That's why we need all your help to make sure you continue to work with LADC and work with World Trade Center Los Angeles to make sure that we're able to come together. This can't be done without our partners. So once again, I want to thank Long Beach Economic Partnership and the World Trade Center Long Beach for your amazing help bringing us to Long Beach. Of course, the city of Long Beach, we were just talking about how after this, we need to set up like weekly meetings to make sure that we're able to coordinate closely together. The DEO, thank you so much for your generous support and all your programs you're able to bring us together. LA Chamber, thank you, Martin. Global LA, and of course the Consular Corps. We need to continue to work together so that, again, we're a coalition of one for economy for all. Continue to network with each other. When we get in the boat, we're going to be trapped together. So this is why I'm so glad I'm working with the Long Beach Economic Partnership. This is a full service organization. They got me Dramamine. Thank you. I get seasick very easily, so when I'm on the boat, if I'm start looking a bit green, that's the reason. And I'm only going to take 2 of these, so if you guys need any, I have extra for you guys as well. It's been such a pleasure being your host and also being your MC today, and especially another big shout out to our World Trade Center and LADC team. For those of you who are here, please wave. Thank you. Please network with them on the boat as well. We will be back next year, and again, next year is our 10th anniversary, so it's going to be a blowout party. It's going to be amazing. We don't know where we're going to go yet, so the 88 cities that are here, please come talk to us about who wants to basically get the 10-year anniversary Select LA Investment Summit so that we can come together and we can defend our territory, because what we heard is Texas is so-so, right? Thank you so much for being here. Looking forward to seeing you next June. Select LA. Thanks so much. Folks, again, the bus will leave at 4:15 downstairs, so please gather up. Last bus to leave is 4:20, so don't miss the bus, don't miss the boat. See you downstairs. Thanks.
Good afternoon, delegates. The Select LA cocktail reception will take place at the Port of Long Beach. Bus transportation will depart from outside the hotel lobby beginning at 4:15 p.m. If you are joining us, please make your way to board the buses. Return transport to the hotel will be provided beginning at 6:30 p.m.